She's Pamela Hughes, he's Rob Hunter, and I'm Bruce St. James. And these are the stories everyone's talking about. We call it The Playlist.
Track 1.
Well, while saying assistant coach Mike McCreary failed his moral obligation, Pennsylvania's governor is saying the law should be changed, making it a crime to not report child sexual abuse to authorities. Governor Tom Corbett says lawmakers have already drafted a proposal to change it. Meanwhile, we've learned the judge who granted Jerry Sandusky bail worked closely with his charity and also lives there in State College, Pennsylvania. Listen, if it is proven in a court of law that the adults knew, covered up, and allowed this abuse to continue, Penn State football should get the death penalty.
You know what, Bruce? I totally agree with you. And as Albert Einstein once said, world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it.
Did you memorize that quote? That's impressive.
There you go.
Yeah, look at that.
She's impressive.
I know, but this is a microcosm of this entire case, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's involved, just kind of looking the other way and giving everybody sweetheart deals. I heard this over the weekend. One of the victims' moms was pressured not to say anything because Jerry Sandusky had a quote-unquote heart of gold.
Oh,
for
jeez.
God's
Goodness.
Track 2.
Well, Herman Cain's wife, Gloria, coming to her husband's defense. She says there's no way the sexual harassment allegations can be true. Now, if they were, Cain would have to split his personality in half because he respects women too much. Herman and Gloria have been married for 43 years.
I
You
actually
giggle.
think this is more about the definition of harassment than anything else. It's listen, I'm concerned about how much is true and how much is perception. I might be a way to say
No,
it.
I think that's a good way to put it, but I also do think that there is a pattern here, like I said a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Cain, I just don't think he's very good at flirting with women. He tried to flirt, and he took it the wrong way. End of story, maybe.
Listen, she has to say these things, but I truly believe she believes them herself. And, you know what, if she's right, then it's a tragedy that anybody can come forward, make these kinds of claims, and then ruin somebody else's name.
Good point.
Track 3.
So Obamacare is going to have its day in courts. Today, the Supreme Court said they will hear challenges to the health care law. There have been conflicting appeals courts rulings so far based on the constitutionality of it. Much of the debate centers around the individual mandate that requires every American to purchase some form of health insurance.
You know, and I'm genuinely curious as to how the Supreme Court will rule on this, which is also referred to as the Commerce Clause. Can the government force citizens to buy something? That's really at the crux of this issue.
Well, you know what? They're going to have the oral arguments probably late February or March with a ruling by June, and we have a presidential election in November.
Yeah, it's a very important decision, guys. Potentially nation-changing decision. Because it will be the first time if they say, yes, the government makes us buy something.
Track 4.
Lots of attention paid to Iran over the weekend as it seems they are closer to having a nuclear weapon. At the GOP debate, Mitt Romney says if President Obama gets a second term, he won't stop Iran from getting the bomb, but Mitt Romney would. Newt Gingrich says he's in favor of stopping them from getting one with force. And Israel said if they strike Iran, they might not tell the United States beforehand. Listen, this is a problem of theory versus reality. Do we wait until it's too late, or do we hope, that Iran acts like a normal, civilized nation? That's pretty darn dangerous.
Yeah, don't hold your breath on that one. I just think it's interesting that Israel is willing to go it alone against Iran. Well, yeah, buckle your safety belts. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
That's a good point. But think about this. Are we ready for another protracted war? We've already been in two for the last 10 years.
Geez.
Do we want to send our boys, mostly boys, over to fight another war?
Right.
I don't know. This is getting tricky.
Track 5.
Bank transfer day came and went last weekend. Well, not much appeared to change. But credit unions around the country are reporting they gained about 40,000 new customers and saw $80 million in new deposits.
Yes.
Overall, about 650,000 people have opened new accounts at credit unions since the end of September.
Wow.
You know, I get that the big bad banks are evil and all this. It just seems like such a hassle to change.
Yeah.
Am I just that lazy? Is that what it is? Don't worry, B of A, we're still going steady.
Well, maybe you're a little bit too lazy, but enough people aren't. And banks backed away from their debit card fees. Now, I'm not sure if this is specifically because of Bank Transfer Day, but I like to see people put their money where their mouth is.
Well, you know what? They backed away, Rob, because of consumer pressure, that nowadays you actually have an outlet to complain and you have power through your voice. So that's why B of A dropped their debit card fees, and it's obviously having an impact.
Track
Who the
6.
heck is this John Skelton guy? I don't know, and I don't think Cards fans care either, but he keeps winning games.
Yeah.
He helped the Cardinals win yesterday as they beat the Eagles in Philly 21-17. They're now 3-6 on the season. As for the Eagles, the so-called dream team, they have the same record, 3-6.
So much for the $60 million they spent on Cobb, huh? It looks like the guy making about $12 an hour gives him a better chance to win. Now what do you do?
Well, I'll tell you what I didn't do yesterday, Bruce, was watch
that?
the game.
I don't even
Yeah, and I didn't even know who they were playing until
What?
this morning.
What?
I heard Paul Calvisi, so yeah.
So let's get
Whatever.
this right.
understand that.
Pamela gets a new TV, doesn't
Right.
watch the Steelers
Doesn't
on.
watch
She
the
watched them the
Steelers.
first week. That was it.
That's it. Watch it for one
Man.
game.
Busy life, man.
I guess so.
I'll tell
I
ya.
guess so. Having a child is
Make
much
time
more
for
busy than I
football.
thought. I think the surprise for me is the 49ers being 8-1. What the heck happened to your Redskins?
They suck.
And I'm glad the Patriots walloped on the Jets last
There is
night.
that.
Got to rub it in with my new roommate, New York Rob.
Good for you.
Awesome.
There you go. All right, that is the playlist. At the bottom of every hour, we run down the stories that people are talking about. We call it the playlist.